And welcome back to the Best Damn Movie Show right here on YouTube.com. Well, me and Skip have this debate going on. Real quick, we're going to get into it. It's about the whole Marvel universe and the whole Universal Marvel, Universal Monster Universe. I feel like Universal are being a bunch of pansies about it, and little girls. You know, are already made billions of dollars off the other ones, and the Mickey Mouse and its Funhouse Club come along and they buy all the superheroes up, and now Universal's pissed off because they're not making any money. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna bring all the monsters back from all the 40s and 30s movies, and they're gonna bring them back and they're gonna redo them. Because there's no other things else that they can do. That makes no sense at all. They got to bring back an origin story about Dracula and the Wolfman. Oh, and I'm not going to mention that horrible Frankenstein movie that fell on its ass.
Beginning of Lionsgate.
Yeah, I thought that wasn't them.
Nope, it was Lionsgate.
So how did they get the rights to that?
I don't know. I don't know how they were able to make a Frankenstein movie.
Well, anyways, they probably still had a part of it because
he had to look totally different than the Universal Monsters Frankenstein, which he did.
Yeah, but I guarantee you that Universal had some. They had some part in that because Frankenstein is Universal. You can't.
It's a Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is a book, and it's a book that anybody can make a movie of.
Frankenstein?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't look like Universal's Frankenstein. Just like nobody can make Dracula like Universal's Dracula. Dracula has to look different.
Well, I mean, Dracula, this one was made by Universal.
Yes, this time it was. They decided to change their own Dracula and make a different looking Dracula.
Well, anyways, my point is, it's not needed. It's a bunch of stupid caca stuff. I mean, there's no need for a monster universe.
I believe there is, and I can't wait for it. I'm hoping that they take the Universal monster, the Benicio del Toro Wolfman, and put that into.
This is coming from the guy that thinks Star Wars 7 is going to be
great.
A hit.
It's going to be great. I can't wait.
How many years they wait? 20 years?
No, 10 years. It's been 10 years since the last 3.
Oh, and they were great.
Star Wars movies. Well, they weren't great.
Oh, I mean,
they've done an animated series. They've done an animated series.
Here we go. Here's one real quick for you. Here's one for you. If it was such a big hit and they wanted to do it, how come Karma came in and smacked him in the face when they put Harrison Ford right on the ground? Because the Millennium Falcon door came and hit his 65-year-old ass on the floor.
I don't know why that happened. It happened, and he had 3 weeks to recover, and he got back to filming. So
yeah. Well, if you're looking for the Marvel Universe, don't worry. Don't waste your breath because it's going to be a waste of time. Or the Monster Universe is going to be a waste of time. Well, Keanu Reeves is updating us on the progress of Bill and Ted 3. Details and story characters.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, I know Alex Winter is not that rich, so he would definitely want to do it so he can make some money. But Keanu, obviously, he's got John Wick out now. He's been doing movies on a regular basis. So.
Well, I mean, he hasn't been doing that many. He's
doing more than Alex Winter's doing.
Well, Alex Winter's a washed up. Well, the first Bill and Ted cost $150 million to make.
Did it really? Wow.
So, and it made its money back because that was a fantastic film. But you were saying something about they didn't have the money to do it, didn't you?
No. The thing is, they're trying to. A lot of these movies have to get outside funding. That the studios that made them, they don't want to make them unless they can get their money back. And so a lot of times they'll go for guys that can fund it from the outside and say, oh, you get outside funding, then we're good with it. We'll make it, Alex Winter, he's not making any movies. He's really not doing anything. So he wants this to happen bad. What's his face? George Carlin's dead. So they can't have George Carlin. What are they going to do? Have George Carlin as a ghost?
Well, no. Here's the synopsis of the movie.
Okay.
They want to do. They wrote the song by the certain time of the universe is going to unveil the history and everything is going to change. Walk on Earth, Jesus playing baseball, all sorts of weird stuff starts unraveling and wormholes are twisting. So it's a bunch of caca bullshit.
That's weird. That is it's definitely out there.
Bill and Ted, you have to be a Bill and Ted fan. Bill and Ted's kind of like a time traveling thing where, they time travel in this phone booth, which it's going to be kind of crazy to see that because, you know, phone booths these days are pretty much obsolete.
And well, except for one phone booth and Doctor Who. It's a phone booth, but they call it something else. What do they call that thing in Doctor Who? They go in.
The Tela or some shit.
Yeah, I can't remember what that thing's called.
Also, another one that you thought that I was BSing about, James Bond 24 has casted Dave Bautista as a villain henchman.
Yeah, I could see Dave Bautista as a henchman, but not the main villain. And you're like saying, oh, Dave Bautista's the main henchman in the movie, the main villain in the movie. Well, Odd Job and Jaws, they're trying to get villains that are going to be memorable, like Odd Job and Jaws, you know. And I understand that, but I don't see Dave Bautista as a memorable villain, you know. But hey, if they give him the role and he does a good job, then hey, I'm wrong. I stand corrected. I like the villain from Jack Ryan better. I like the big guy from Jack Ryan. I thought he was a pretty cool villain. It was this big guy in Jack Ryan. I've seen him in 2 or 3 other movies.
I gotta check that out. I do like this quote by Robert Downey Jr. in the next story, saying that superhero movies are getting a little bit old.
Yeah. He's making $40 and $50 million a picture, but they're getting old.
They are.
They're not getting old for me, and they're not getting old for most of the people that go see them.
And folks, you know why? And I tell you another reason. You know why they're not getting old for this guy and everybody else? Because they're comic book geeks. That's the only thing to it. They're comic book geeks. If you read comic books and you stick them up your ass and you read them, you don't get old. I mean seriously. I mean, you don't think it's old every other year? There's a freaking
I feel
Iron
like
Man
we're in the renaissance of the comic book movie, and I think they need to capitalize it while it's fresh and it's entertaining, and they have the special effects and so forth, and the computer CGI and whatever, and the money, the sets that can build the sets and stuff, because it may not be here for long. You know, it may come 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. We may be comic book movied out.
Oh, no.
Looking for something
No,
else.
yeah, you won't be comic movied out. They'll just make they'll just reboot Guardians of the Galaxy or the X-Men. You know why? Because they have no idea what a new idea is.
Well, you make a good point.
Everybody
there.
in Hollywood, you're a bunch of fucking morons.
You make a good point there. They rehash and they reboot a lot of things. I'll give you credit for that.
Well, this is what Robert Downey Jr. says. Fraying around the edges, the last summer there was 5 to 7 different ones. 5 to 7 different. I mean, really. I mean, the summer movies are always superhero movies. They're always Marvel movies. They always bank on things like that. And they shouldn't. Because there's so many good movies out there that you could put out there.
Well, they bring back Terminator, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes, Equalizer. You like Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? Equalizer, you like those, right? Those are reboots.
Oh, yeah, they were great.
Really? You didn't like them?
Yeah, I loved them. I mean, 7 more Planet of the Apes would be nice. Well,
I think they're going to do one more.
I want you to read this story because you don't believe me about this one.
All right.
But it talks about Michael Keaton, and he wants to come. He says he would be willing to come back and play Batman. And I want you to read this because that's what the story's
All right.
about.
All right, I'll read the story, but I'm telling you right now, it's just all hype about Birdman. Michael Keaton would play Batman again, explains, passing on Batman Forever. Michael Keaton reveals why he turned down Batman Forever and what it would take for him to return to the iconic role. Keaton has been asked several questions about his time as the Caped Crusader, and he said that he is proud of the work he has done with Burton and him and Burton did together. Another day, more Batman questions for Keaton, this time inquiring to the decision forego reprising his role of Batman Forever, with Saw Schumacher take the director's chair and Val Kilmer don the cape and cowl. In an interview with CBS Sunday Morning, Keaton revealed that he was offered $15 million for the film, but turned it down because it sucked. When I asked to expand upon that assessment, Keaton said, "Yeah, it just was awful." Keaton days in the Batcave long over, but Batman remains a viable force in the movie industry, with Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy earning critical praise along with the Buffalo box office returns for its second and third installments. Ben Affleck being set to play character in Zack Snyder's Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. With superheroes all rage in movies these days, would Keaton ever consider returning to the world? In an interview with Entertainment Weekly via Comic Book Movie, Keaton said he would, under one condition, if it was Tim Burton directing. In a heartbeat, Tim in the movies really invented the whole dark superhero thing. He started everything, and some of the guys who have done these movies since then don't say that, and they're wrong. Okay. First of all, Tim Burton's not going to come back and do another Batman. Second of all, Michael Keaton made that because he knows Tim Burton's... He made that statement because he knows Tim Burton ain't coming back to do another Batman.
You never
So,
know.
in other words, he ain't coming back to do another Batman.
You never know. There ain't nothing else he's doing.
Birdman.
Yeah, and how long ago?
Actually, he was in 3 movies this year. He was in Need for Speed, Birdman, and God, I can't remember the third movie he was in.
No, I think he was in 2 movies.
No, Need for Speed and something else. What was, he had a cameo and something, a small role in something else.
Anyways, he's still not doing nothing. He still has a washed-up career. He's waiting on Beetlejuice 2. Okay,
Yeah, Beetlejuice. Now Tim Burton's doing a second Beetlejuice, so
Yeah.
that's a way for them two to work together.
we've been listening. We've been hearing and listening about that for about 2 years.
Yeah, good point. You make a good point about that.
His career, he's really not doing much. So I mean, for him to say something like that, yeah, of course he's going to jump on another Batman if he can because there ain't nothing going for him.
Well, I mean, I would too, but he's too old. He can't play Batman anymore.
He's too old.
He's too
Ben
old.
Affleck's not old.
He's not nearly as old as Michael Keaton.
Who cares? He's wearing a mask. He's wearing a mask.
Half the time he ain't. He's got to be a millionaire.
And like I say, and you think Ben Affleck's going to do way better.
I
We
think
will
he will
see.
be. I think he will be.
We're going to see how a comedian can be Batman.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I think he's come. He's given us some more dramatic roles over the last 3 or 4 years.
You know what? I
Michael,
think
Ben Affleck.
I tell you, I think I found a good Robin for you too. I think
Jen Malone?
No, Paula Dean. Paula Dean would play a really good
Get out of here.
Robin. He would play a really. It would be Ben Affleck and Paula Dean. What do you think?
No, get out of here. Let's go on to the
I mean,
next story.
You know, Will Ferrell can be the Joker.
Get out of here. Let's move on to the next
Hey,
story.
and Brett the Hitman Hart can play Two-Face.
Get out of here.
I mean, these are so good characters.
Get out of here. Let's move on to the next story.
So good characters.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Well,
You're off.
On to the next story. Dean, what's his name? Dean DeBose, the director of How to Train Your Dragon, says Dragon 3 will be the last final act of the story.
Well, it makes sense. There's not a whole lot of story there to tell, but I could see 3 movies.
Now, what's the dragon's name?
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Because now they're gonna.
Oh God.
They said they're gonna.
Echo?
They're gonna do a spin-off of the dragon.
Are they? Oh, what was the name of the dragon? Echo. I can't think of the name of the dragon right now. I'm sorry, man.
God, you're killing me, Small.
You put me on the spot, and I'm thinking the name of the dragon, and I can't think of it.
I gotta
It's
look up the dragon's name.
No, let's just move on to the next story.
I gotta look.
Let's move on to the next story.
Here's the dragon's name. I gotta look up this. A
jeez.
possible spin-off of the dragon. Oh, Hiccup.
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 Hiccup. Hiccup's the guy's name. Not the dragon, but the name of the guy that rides dragon. Hiccup.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
they're talking about doing a side spin-off story of Hiccup.
Oh, okay.
Star Wars Episode 7 cast includes Warwick Davis. He tweeted out that he is in Star Wars 7, and next month we'll be wrapping up Star Wars 7.
Yeah, it's interesting that he would be in it. I'm thinking, he played Wicket, so obviously you're not going to have Ewoks in this movie. I'd be shocked if there were Ewoks in this movie. So my thing is probably playing a new character. What do you think?
I think he might play. I think he might do flashbacks of Ewoks, or they might slip an Ewok in there.
Really, you don't think he's a new character, huh?
No.
Oh.
I mean, they brought back the whole
I know they're bringing everybody
1976
back.
dead cast of the.
They're bringing everybody back. That's interesting. They're giving him back.
Sony Pictures TV to reboot the classic 60s and 70s Bewitched. Why? Why?
Bewitched. We had a movie of Bewitched
Why?
with Nicole Kidman. We had a movie with Nicole Kidman in Bewitched.
No, they're going to do the TV series.
Oh, they're bringing it back as a TV show? Well, you know, we're in the renaissance of witches and zombies and vampires and werewolves and all that stuff, so why
I don't
not?
understand. I don't understand.
Is it a comedy? Is it going to be a comedy?
No, it's going to be a horror.
Really?
No, it's going to be the freaking Bewitched same bullshit.
Oh, so it's going to be a comedy.
Yes.
I really like Bewitched.
Yeah.
I actually really like that show.
Me too.
That was a funny show.
Yeah, and I think they should bring it back for another.
The Bewitched movie was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright.
I mean, come on, really? Will Ferrell and Bewitched?
that was funny. Yeah, he was funny in it. I actually liked that.
Again.
Will Ferrell, Nicole Kidman.
Do you think
Bewitched.
Paula Dean can play his wife?
Oh, get out of here. Move on. You and Paula Dean, I'm going to tweet her out. I got a guy that wants to date you.
Well, here's another kicker in the story. He's going to probably kick you in the ass. Pacific Rim 2 filming in the fall, possibly having a Pacific Rim 3. Why? The first one bombed.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. Here in America, it only made $101 million.
Yeah. Worldwide, it made enough money to warrant
Okay.
writing a script and doing another one.
You have to understand something. It doesn't matter because us in America, we don't care about that shit.
A lot of people cared. They really
Yeah?
wanted another.
If they really wanted another
they would have
one,
went and saw it. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're right. Yeah, I know I'm right.
You're right about that.
They
They
made
would've went and
$400
saw it.
million worldwide, $101 million here and domestically in the United States. Okay.
I went and saw it twice, and when you put monsters versus robots, I am there. I love that kind of science fiction and whatnot.
I feel like he's wasting his money.
I think the people want it.
What's the director's name?
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
But it's legendary. They want. There's a little rumor going around that there's a chance that they could cross over Pacific Rim with Godzilla somehow. How, I don't know. You know, but we'll talk about that in another.
It's a waste of time. Okay, it's a waste of time.
legendary.
Only
cool.
Chinese people like freaking
Yeah,
things
good
like
point.
that.
You
That's
make a
why
very
it's
good
over
point.
there. Chinese people love stupid shit like
You make
that.
a very good point. They are huge. Orient and Asia.
Well, I guess the Oscars really didn't like Seth MacFarlane because now the Oscars this year is going to be hosted by Neil Patrick Harris,
Yeah.
the gay one himself.
Yeah, I didn't like him in Gone Girl, but from what I have seen him do in the past of award shows, he's really entertaining hosting award shows. Why does he so good at this? I don't know.
So what happened to Seth MacFarlane? You
Well,
don't
he
think
talked
did a
about
good job?
boobs. He talked about boobs too much.
So what?
He shouldn't have sang a boob song. I mean, we all like boobs.
Can I
but-
just tell you, all them old farts out there that are actually in the Oscar or whatever, that's the problem. That's the problem with society today, is you got all them old farts that have no job and no clue what they're doing. They're all senile. They're in their 60s and 70s. That all they do is sit there and like movies and fart and shit themselves and go, oh, that's a good movie. Let's put that. You know why? It came out in the end of the year. Fuck all the other movies that came out during the whole
How does that
entire
have
year.
to do with Neil Patrick Harris?
Because they didn't like Seth MacFarlane because he made boob jokes. So now
No,
they're
I'm just kidding about that. But
Yeah, but so
yeah,
now
well, they change every year. They put a new host every year. He's hosted the Emmys, the Tonys. Now it's his turn to host the Oscars. That's
you know
it.
you know what I think about the Oscars.
I know you don't like the Oscars.
I think they're a bunch of
All right, move on to the next story. Let's go. You're a little bit
Listen.
rambunctious tonight.
yeah. You know why? Because you know why? Because I feel like they do the same shit over and over again. Christian Bale in talks of doing the Danny Boyle Stephen Jobs biopic.
Yeah. Okay. The Stephen Jobs biopic is. We already had the one with what's his
Ashton
name?
Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher last year. But this one, from what I'm hearing, is three moments in Steve Jobs' life, and it's written by the guy that did The Social Network and Moneyball. And so all you're going to be doing is he's going to do 3 scenes, like half-hour, hour-long scenes or whatever they are, and they're the 3 most major moments in Steve Jobs' life. You're just going to be basically standing at a podium 3 different times during the movie. That's what I heard this movie.
It's a waste of film.
I mean, I'm like, I don't know why I do a movie about a biopic.
Why you gotta do a whole other
Yeah.
movie over again? You just did one.
Yeah,
Go
I know.
Jobs.
I know.
What do you got?
I didn't think Ashton Kutcher was that bad as Jobs. I thought he was pretty good, actually.
I didn't think it was either. Here you go. Here's something that's gonna set me off my rocker again.
Oh boy.
Batman and Superman will get standalone movies in 2020. Why? 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 Why?
All right, we've talked about
Why?
the superhero genre. Vinny doesn't like superhero movies. He's
No,
not
but how
a fan
many
of them.
fucking Batmans and Supermans do you have to make? How many?
Well, Batman is played by Ben Affleck in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Well, his first movie as Batman himself in his own movie will be in 2020.
I mean, how many
Part of
nerds do you
the
think
cinematic
jizz themselves
universe.
when they hear Batman again? I mean,
It went crazy yesterday.
Batman again!
It went crazy yesterday.
Oh God, we haven't seen Batman since '92. So let's make another Batman. Oh! I mean, for God's sakes, I can pull you out my collection of Supermans. There's probably 45 of them. They're getting up there with the James Bond series, I tell you that right now. I mean, they're on 24. I don't know how many Supermans there are. 67? I mean, how many Batmans are there?
There's
11?
six Supermans, and Batman's is 4 and 3. That's 7. 6 Superman, 7 Batman.
Oh my God.
And Dawn of Justice will make 8 Batman and 7 Superman.
Well, it's official now. Jason Momoa is going to be playing Aquaman.
Yes, we knew this before, but I really believe if you look at what a person would look like if Aquaman was a realistic character, I believe Jason Momoa with tattoos and long hair and a beard, and he would look like what Aquaman would look like, in my opinion, if Aquaman were real. I think a blonde-haired guy with pasty white skin and green tights wouldn't be what Aquaman would look like, in my opinion, if Aquaman was real. I just believe that Jason Momoa is a good choice.
Gambit solo movie will attempt to be different in origin story. Channing Tatum was asked this week, and he said, "We want to introduce the character in a very different way. You know, when you try to do something different, you never really know. Right off the bat, what it is, we're feeling our way, and really just kind of providing a concept of the person."
I hope it's better. I mean, I like Taylor Kitsch's version of Gambit in Wolverine Origins, but I'm hoping it's good. Lauren Schuler Donner originally wanted to cast Channing Tatum as that character in the last.
I wonder if he's going to play a stripper in this one. Anyways, he also says, "I don't want to give much away because we don't know much right now. There, we obviously know that Gambit is we really do want to try our hardest to give something fresh."
I think, well, Gambit's one of the fresher, for lack of a better word, more interesting characters in the X-Men universe, and I'm excited. I'm not a big Channing Tatum fan, but I am excited to see him play Gambit, to see what he could do.
Also, it was announced this week that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Captain America 3.
Yes, they're planning this whole Civil War storyline where...
Real quick, sum the whole thing up of all the stories this week in one nutshell.
Alright, Civil War is a storyline where Iron Man tries to... the government wants Iron Man to go out and get all the superheroes and to give them... it's called the Superhero Registration Act, to give them their personal identities, who they are. Captain America, he doesn't want to do that. So it was a huge storyline in the 2000s called Civil War. Now that's going to lead into Avengers 3. That takes place after Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. And Captain America 3, which should be out in May 6, 2016. Now, they're also talking about Spider-Man, trying to get Spider-Man into the fold. Spider-Man played a major part in Civil War. And so Sony's kind of losing a lot of money in everything but their movies. So there's a possibility of them sharing Spider-Man with Marvel.
I don't understand how they're losing if Spider-Man 2 did great.
$800 million.
So where are they losing money at?
CD players, DVD players,
Oh, wow.
TVs, Walkmans, whatever the hell Sony makes, furniture, refrigerators, stoves, stuff like that ain't selling that Sony makes all
maybe
that
they
stuff.
shouldn't put their hand in the cookie jar on too many things.
But their movie, we just saw a Sony movie yesterday, Fury. I hope for Sony's sake, Fury does good. That's the Marvel end of it. Civil War doesn't have Hulk and it doesn't have Thor. So something is going to happen with Hulk and Thor to have Civil War happen without them.
I'll let you read the last two stories I have there.
Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Javier Bardem in talks to play the villain. Oscar winner Javier Bardem is in talks to play the villain. The next installment in Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean movie franchise. Okay, we already saw Javier Bardem play the villain in the James Bond movie, Skyfall. Was he not badass as the villain?
Hey, was a good one.
And so if you're gonna make a movie, why not add talent? Javier Bardem is talent. It can only help Pirates of the Caribbean 5, in my opinion. Right? Don't you think? If you're gonna do one, why not add talent? And Javier Bardem is talent. All right, here we go. Green Lantern. Will Green Lantern bring the Justice League 2's villain to Earth? Looking at the WB superhero movie release dates, we suspect the new Green Lantern could arrive in time to face the Justice League's greatest enemy. Okay, there's a rumor that somehow Green Lantern brings Darkseid to Earth. And that's why they're doing a Green Lantern movie. It's going to be a reboot of Green Lantern, but I still think it's going to have something to do with the last Green Lantern movie. Because most of that movie was pretty good except for the villain. The villain was kind of hokey, but it was based on the origin, Green Lantern origin story that came out 20 years ago in the comics. So, Darkseid is the Justice League's #1 villain. We saw Darkseid in Smallville. They did a good version of Darkseid in Smallville, but I think with special effects and movie money and all the stuff, I think you could do a freaking amazing Darkseid and the world that he comes from and all the characters that are his allies and stuff. And
We will see.
yeah.
We will see. It's getting interesting what they're trying to do. But that's all the time we have for this week. I know everybody's sad and they're going to cry and, you know, wait till next week for... We have one next week so far. Ouija, Skipper over here is trying to bail on me, but don't you worry. The Skipper's going to get on the ship and sail right with me to the AMC in Altamont and see it. Skip, where can they find you?
You can always find me at From the Fourth Row at WordPress.com. Also, my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And, you know, I write articles, I do reviews. So this is not the only...
You can always find me at thebestdaymovieshow.com, where I'm going to give you all my reviews, trailers, all the nonsense that I put up there, movie news, such on and so forth. But until next week, I'm Vince LaSpada.
I am Skip.
And we'll see you at the movies.
Good night, everybody!
BigPeepees.com.